Any doubt that the biggest star in all of professional basketball is Caitlin Clark, that doubt goes out the window. This was a Steph Curry NBA All-Star Game event that would have been greenlit if Caitlin Clark took part in it.
Dude got multiple seasons of holy moly greenlit for crying out loud.
This is Steph Curry, one of the greatest players ever seen, the greatest shooter, incredible optics, an incredible image, and a huge superstar. His event would have been greenlit if Caitlin Clark took part in it. She didn't, and now the Steph Curry event is no more. The NBA's got a lot of stars, right? They do. I'm not saying they don't. But when I said last year, Caitlin Clark's coming to the WNBA and she's going to have the impact of Magic and Larry, turns out I was a little low on that because while she transformed the WNBA, unlike any other athlete has transformed their sport, now you realize she's the biggest star in professional basketball. Bigger than LeBron, bigger than Steph, bigger than a lot of these stars, bigger than Giannis, bigger than Wemby. What she does affects everybody. She moves the needle more than anybody in the NBA does. In a year, she's gone from being, hey, here's Caitlin Clark, incredibly great player with college, putting women's college basketball to the forefront for unlike it's ever been in its history. And now here's a year later, yes or no, yay or nay, things get greenlit, ended. And again, I go back to Steph Curry had an all-star event canceled where it would have been greenlit if she took part in it.
But go back to being left off the Olympic team and the fury that was spawned there. We talk about Steph Curry, and he's one of the most beloved stars that we've had. Everything he touches has been gold, right? He's the unassuming superstar who's still a giant relative to the common man, but since he's playing alongside 7-footers, he looks like one of us. He's one of us. He's one of those guys. Yeah, the little guy, making it great. And look at him shooting and all that stuff. Family and just go on down the line. Like, if I'm a sponsor that bought in, if I'm one of these networks that bought into these multi-billion-dollar contracts for television, I'm going in and saying, what the hell am I buying into? That we cancel an event when she said a month ago she wanted no part of it? That you couldn't find a suitable replacement to keep moving? What are we doing?
Biggest star in professional basketball, Caitlin Clark.
Hands down.
No question about it. No question about it. And now you're starting to see it from everybody. Hopefully everybody's doing well, by the way. But now you're starting to hear it from everybody. And I told you guys a couple weeks ago, the reports for 2024 came out. You guys might not have saw it on this channel, but I know I spoke about it 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. When you started seeing Stephen A. Smith, Elle, Shanae, all these women and all these woke people start, saying, oh, Caitlin Clark this, oh, Caitlin Clark that, oh, Caitlin, she's the needle, she's moving the needle. Duh, we all knew that. But I told you what happened. You hear how everyone is talking. I mean, for you to start the show off with this right here.
That the biggest star in all of professional basketball is Caitlin Clark?
The biggest. Bigger than LeBron, as stated. Bigger than Steph. And I told you, nobody believes me. Like, brother, listen. From what I do, me personally, I can tell you now, there's not another athlete right now bigger than Caitlin Clark. When it comes to what I do. And I'm talking about I'm talking about social media. I'm talking about TikTok. I'm talking about Instagrams. I'm talking about stuff like that. I'm not talking about YouTube. YouTube, she's the biggest. She's the biggest, most talked about athlete on YouTube as far as sports. NBA and WNBA, for sure. And it just shows you, there was no comparison to who we're here watching for. Oh, the WNBA is growing for two people. No. The WNBA is growing because Caitlin Clark. And I'm not even going to really touch on the whole NBA thing. We already went over that. Caitlin Clark doesn't need to do the NBA situation. But it just shows you how powerful it is that Steph Curry canceled his event because Caitlin Clark said no. It's like, wow, you can't do it by yourself. You can't do it with anybody else. You can't find anything close to Caitlin Clark. No. canceled. So I just want, like L. Duncan said, everybody's realizing now that Caitlin Clark is the needle. Everyone's realizing that Caitlin Clark is pretty much the biggest athlete right now, women's athlete, and WNBA, NBA wise, right? There's still a small percentage, and L. Duncan was specifically talking about one fan base. A couple people, WNBA fan base, majority of them, they don't want to accept the fact that Caitlin Clark is the biggest star in basketball. And the fact Caitlin Clark keeps on trying to put the spotlight on the WNBA and making sure she says the right things and this and that, I think Caitlin Clark is going to really start realizing how big she is. I think she knows, but I don't think she understands how big of a name she is, who she really is, how big she is to the media space, to the professional sports space. I saw something on Instagram. Caitlin Clark, we talked about it, her agent. I just saw something from ESPNW. They posted something about Caitlin Clark contributing $36 million. Not contributing, not like, but yeah, pretty much being a reason for $36 million for the Indiana city or whatever the case was, something like that. Indiana, some type of organization or city, something we spoke on, right? But the point is, Caitlin Clark liked that. She liked that post on Instagram, and it also was linked to, there were slides of Caitlin Clark's agent stating what she was saying, and pretty much showing Caitlin Clark makes $78,000. Caitlin Clark liked that. She liked that photo. So that just shows me Caitlin Clark is very aware of what's going on. She's very aware of her pain, her earnings, and what's really going on. Unless there's something we don't know, I think Caitlin Clark is starting to pick up on like, hey, I am getting lowballed. What's going on? So I wouldn't be surprised if some things start shaking up with her and her agent or things like that, because it's, when it comes to the WNBA side, it's not really her agent. I mean, the WNBA, they can't really do much. They don't make money. And that should show you right there. We're talking about one player. How is she contributing 27%? How is she responsible for 27% of what the WNBA did last year? And what did the rest of the girls do? One person, 27% in the whole league. What did the rest of the girls do? So it is unfair. It's unfair to Caitlin. And like I said, I'm not going to touch on the NBA. All I'm going to say is, hey, you guys got to figure something out. Leave Caitlin Clark alone. She does what she does. But I think something will happen soon. And I think Caitlin Clark might start feeling that, hey, this isn't fair to me. I'm getting played, especially from that Nike deal and the way they're treating her. So besides that, I think we pretty much touched on everything. Great segment right here. Let me finish it off real quick.
And she's going to have the impact of Magic and Larry. Turns out I was a little low on that because forefront for unlike it's ever been in its history.
Gold.
Yeah, right? And pretty much, look, Caitlin Clark, we know with the WNBA, there's no denying what's going on in the WNBA as far as growth, but it's still not enough. Caitlin Clark can't do it by herself. So with all of this being put out, these articles, and the WNBA might not ever be able to pay Caitlin Clark what she's worth, you don't think there's investors out there, hey, we can start our own league. We can do this. Unrivaled isn't really, why don't we start our own league? Do you understand what would happen if she did that? That'd be crazy. I don't think Caitlin Clark is, well, you never know. You never know. She could be like that, but I really feel like Caitlin Clark is so traditional. She's so loyal to the game that the money thing, she overlooked it all. And there's really nothing, hey, she doesn't want to be different. Treat me as hey, I'm normal. I'm coming here to play. I want to win championships. I want to win games. It's not really about the money. She's getting the money on the outside. But now it's just starting to come public that things are not really as good as what they're looking like when it comes to her numbers, because of everything coming out with these reports that, hey, Caitlin Clark is the big dog. Caitlin Clark's drawing the most numbers, the most viewership on ESPN, SportsCenter, any network you can think of that covers sports. Caitlin Clark covers by far as women's basketball and men's basketball. So I think the agent, maybe there's a conversation, something going on, but she has to be compensated for some of this stuff. She is the biggest, man, and there's no arguing it. So for the people that want to argue it, you really got to understand what's going on and do your research. There's no comparing, bro. Caitlin Clark is on a whole nother level. Whole nother level. I tell you so. That's really all I got. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all the recent love. I'll be back with some more content, and I'll catch you on the next one.